Okay, so this is a video on the Su-85. We're just going to form the superstructure shape and then attach it to the chassis. So you want to first kind of make sure that everything's going to fit up nice and even. Make sure these are ending at the same spot and get out some 4-to-1 glue. And we're just going to set these front angles in place. We're going to leave this back unattached until it's on the chassis and we can see exactly where it needs to go. So try to find a good way to hold it where your fingers aren't in the way of placing the patch. And you'll need a fairly long patch to cover this whole angle if that's your intention. It's not a bad idea to do that. Okay, let's do the other side as well. Now butting these sides against the rear of the front plate rather than trying to go inside corner to inside corner can be a little bit easier and is fine. So corner to corner is like one of the harder connections to make if you want to just butt it up to the back of this front plate. That works too. Okay. Now usually I give it a little bit of time to dry before trying to remove these, but I'm just going to quickly press on here. They remove a little cleaner when they're dry, that's all. So once you're at this stage, just fold this under so it's basically just out of the way. And this is likely to be the shape of it, but sometimes there's a little bit of variation, so we just want to test it. Toss it on there. So you want to kind of push it back until these are as close together as they're going to come to being level. And this back here should come right to where those blue lines sort of end. So once you kind of got it test fitted, and these at the bottom, they're going to press right up against the sides of the tank, but you can see that there's a gap that develops along here. That's supposed to be there. It's unavoidable, so just don't worry so much about that. And let's go ahead and attach it, and then we'll worry about those side parts. So you know that because there's the blue line up there, this is the length of where that side part will come to. So put a little bit of glue along here. And then here is where you'll need glue as well as in here a little bit. So don't be afraid to use a lot, as this is all covered. It's not going to hurt anything. So you see how if we had attached this and pulled it tight, we wouldn't even be able to fit the sides on there completely snug. Or they'd be too snug, rather. Now, we want this as straight up and down as we can get it when we install it. I'm just going to wait a little bit until this is set somewhat before we start messing with it. If there's a gap down here, like a discernible one, you can use a patch to cover that. I might as well do that. And if you don't want to cut them to the exact length, you can use more than one. Okay, now we need a little bit of cue card paper. I'm just going to cut some little pieces. And install them like this. First, let's glue this in place. So, if you remember the method we used to affix the track covers, where you fold a piece, slide it on a non-glued surface up to the glued surface, then you're going to glue it on, then slip glue underneath it and glue it down. So let's put glue along this angle. We can lift this up a bit. Slip glue underneath it. And this will serve to cover that lower gap where that piece didn't quite reach down. Okay. Let's remove this. Install these side bits, and it's okay if they're too long. We'll just trim that off later once it's completely dry. It'll be easy to trim off. So oversized is good, so you don't miss anything. You can do it too easily. Just install it like that. push it so it's against some material the whole way along. If there's tiny gaps in there somewhere, they will fill with glue quite easily. And if not glue, then paint. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Same on the other side. Just cover that little gap. And then use your skewer to make sure it's flat all along the way. And we'll leave that to dry, and then once it's completely dry, like leave it for maybe 10-15 minutes, then you can use your knife to just slice that off quite easily. And that puts your superstructure on the Su-85.